If you're ready to gain clarity, align with God's calling, and activate the habits that accelerate real growth in your life, you're in the right spot. This is the Worthy Woman Podcast. My name is Amy Ramsey. I'm a Jesus follower, a certified high performance coach, and a life and leadership strategist. This is where you'll come to for real life coaching, strategies, and tools, all delivered through a Bible-based and science-backed approach to help you walk worthy of that calling that's inside of you and make the impact that God designed you to carry. Let's go straight to the episode. What if the reason you are not making the progress you want to make or know that you can make isn't because you need more time? What if it's because, honestly, you've not been taught how to finish well? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked up at the end of a month and thought, I've been so busy every single day, so why haven't I made more progress than this? I feel like that is something that so many of us can just raise our hand and say, are you talking to me? Because that's exactly what's going on in my world. I wanted to release this podcast at the end of this month so it can be a help to you on what is missing. If you are a high-performing woman, an entrepreneur, or a leader who's tired of living in that start-stop cycle, this episode is for you. The highest performers don't just know how to start, but they know how to pause, how to evaluate, how to adjust, and build momentum before the next month ever begins. One of the biggest mistakes I see women make is that they are carrying unfinished goals and also frustration and this kind of low-lying guilt from month to month. And it's not because they're not capable, and it's not because they aren't working hard, but it's because they don't understand how to finish strong. And today I'm super excited because I really want to use the timing of the drop of this episode to walk you through the exact process that I personally use at the end of every month to evaluate what's working, to identify what's getting in the way, and to celebrate the wins and create a simple plan that builds momentum instead of making me feel like I'm starting all over again. I want you to have this exact plan. I am going to share with you a private podcast that's part of what I call the Goal Getters 30-Day Challenge. And it's right at the end of the challenge. I was actually listening to it thinking, yeah. I just want more women to understand this is such a vital part of you moving forward, not working harder, but working smarter. And when I started to really learn how to evaluate my performance and understand why it is so important, because what gets measured gets moved faster. We measure what matters. In the Worthy Woman Planner, it's a 90-day high performance planner. And we break our goals into 90 days, but there's a timestamp of 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And when we take that opportunity to evaluate our performance, I've got this framework that I just want to briefly put it here, but it's about becoming the best version of yourself, the truest version of the way that God designed and created you. It's about becoming your true self. And TRUE is an acronym for think. The T is think and believe bigger with God. The R is root in identity and truth. The U is unleash the plan. And E is execute and evaluate. And what I've learned by coaching so many women is that typically there is every part of that framework needs to be shored up and tightened up. And oftentimes it's the E, that execute and evaluate, are completely missing. So when you take this time at the end of the month to honestly evaluate, how am I doing on my goal? I love to set a fresh little goal every single month. Every single month. I love to do this, and I love to be at the end of the month and go, how did I do? And I've got to tell you, when I look at my goals this current month, this is going to be dropping at time of release of this is the end of July. I can look at two of my goals and say, ooh, I did really good. My top two goals. I'm really proud of myself. And then my third goal, I had to look at it and go, yeah, you know what? I made some forward strides, but when I look back at my action plan, I can't be upset that I haven't moved a little further towards this goal because I haven't really been consistently taking the actions that I designated for myself. Old me would have said, meh, of course you didn't. Move on. Start, stop, right? But the version of myself that's learning how to crush my goals and was understood the science behind, the power behind the evaluation, I was able to look at myself honestly, square in the pants, and go, yeah, you haven't earned the results that you're wanting with this. It's a health goal that I have. You haven't really earned it. And then I looked back at the actions that I said I was going to do, and I have done some of them for sure, but not as consistently as I wanted to. And you know what? It's a little eye-opening, and I really want to achieve this goal. So the evaluation helped me to tighten up for the next month moving forward. All right. At the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to evaluate your month like a high performer so you can stop staying busy and you can start making meaningful progress and step into each month with greater clarity. Let me tell you something. Clarity is my love language. Clarity is key. It is the first high performance habit. So you can step into each month with clarity, confidence, and follow through. So, my friend, grab your planner, the Worthy Woman planner, or a journal or a notebook. Let's finish the month strong together. And I am going to walk you through the exact process that I use. Enjoy the podcast. I'm in the middle of finishing several kind of big projects. They have taken a long time. And I'm at the tail end of being able to wrap some of the projects up and be complete. Can I tell you how rewarding that is? But can I also tell you, there is no way I would have done it unless I would have had urgency and divided up the project with a quarter. I used my 90-day goal. I like to do 90-day goals. I encourage you to as well. And each month, at the end of the month, I had a deadline for myself that would move me further along in the project. The projects have been complex and very comprehensive. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how much work it was going to take. Isn't that the way all projects are, though? You never realize how much work it's going to take. There's something powerful about the way, though, that you've got that urgency at the end. One year I decided to declutter my house. And I took project by project, room by room, and I divvied it up over the year so I wouldn't get overwhelmed because I kept saying I wanted to do it, but I wasn't doing it. So I literally went like, one drawer a week sometimes. But when I got to that last quarter, that finished strong quarter, I saved it towards the end because I knew all of my Christmas was up in the attic. And when I hauled it all down to decorate for Christmas, I was going to get rid of a whole bunch of it. I saved those big projects towards the end, but let me tell you, there's something about that urgency that when it came down, man, I was a machine. So allow the natural urgency to help you finish strong. I'm going to shift this now just a little bit. That was super practical, right? But let's think about this as a bigger idea that a life of impact is built through faithful consistency time after time after time. Anyone can start motivated, but it's very few people who learn how to stay steady and follow through. There's a scripture, I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's better to, oh my gosh, I don't want to butcher the scripture, but it's better to, the ending is better than the beginning. Most people don't follow through. And building this in you, in your life, is game changer. The women who change their lives, they fulfill their callings. They build strong families. They lead well. They create impact. They leave legacy. And they keep showing up. Not perfectly. Let that go. No, faithfully, consistently. Finishing strong is stewardship of your life. It's understanding that each day is a gift and each day matters. It's understanding that your habits that you have are shaping the direction of your destiny. So I'm going to leave you with a few things to think about where nobody sees you as a prayer warrior, doing the workouts, setting some boundaries, having some hard conversations, the discipline, choosing the hard thing, even when everything in your body is saying, but no, I want the chocolate brownie. I had that conversation today, honestly, with myself. The follow through and the repeated obedience, the daily choices. Your consistency matters. And guess what? It compounds. Consistency compounds. Science shows us this. Your brain strengthens whatever you repeatedly practice. Repeated behaviors become automatic neural pathways over time. What does that mean? It's a habit. That means that every act of follow through is not only producing results, but it's changing and shaping your identity. You are becoming someone through repetition. And endurance matters here. Research shows us this, that long-term fulfillment and confidence are deeply connected to progress, meaning, perseverance, and not instant gratification. Your brain gains deeper satisfaction from purposeful growth than from your temporary comforts. This is why quitting, when you quit, it costs you more than you think. Every time you quit on yourself, it weakens your self-trust. But every time you stay consistent, imperfectly consistent, you strengthen resilience, discipline, and confidence. So this is so much bigger than achieving a goal, achieving the goal, your goal for your goal for 30 days. Can you see that? Like, this is so much bigger than that. This is who you are becoming. It's about living a life well lived. Hebrews 12:1 says, let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. May you run your race and be marked by faithfulness, fruitfulness that you've made impact, stewardship, obedience, courage, impact, and consistency. Stay steady. So much of what we're talking about today is boring, B-O-R-I-N-G, boring. But this is where it's at. Run your race well. Don't underestimate the power of your consistent obedience over time. It matters. It really matters. I need to hear this reminder. How about you? Let's walk worthy, let's run our race well, and let's finish strong so we can make the impact we are called to make. Linking arms together. You're not alone in this race. We are a sisterhood doing this together. I'm cheering you on.
As we wrap up today, I want to remind you of the heartbeat behind this space. Ephesians 4:1 calls us to walk worthy of the calling we have received. And this podcast exists to help you rise into the identity God placed inside of you and to live out the assignment that He has entrusted you to do. My friend, you are needed, you are necessary, and your life carries purpose. If this episode encouraged you, would you please do me a favor and subscribe to the show? Leave a rating and a review, and please share it with a friend who also needs this reminder. And I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am cheering for you. I'm championing you on, and I will see you next week on the Worthy Woman Podcast.